Yo, what's up guys? My name is Toxicity and welcome back to Pokemon Infinite Fusion. Now this Pokemon game is a fan-made game which allows you to combine and fuse together multiple Pokemon to create over 175,000 new Pokemon types, new Pokemon species, and just the most cursed Pokemon you'll ever see in the Pokemon history. Now this game is super fun. I highly recommend it. Try it out for yourself. But in this episode, we start off our adventure by naming our rival the perfect name, Mr. Chaotic. I'm calling you out. We also spawn in our nice little house, chat to our sister before heading outside and getting rudely interrupted by Chaotic straight away. Yo Tox, he says, and he is trying to rub in the fact that he got his letter to be accepted into the Pokemon League, but we also did, so there's no rubbing anything in. We then have to go and rescue an old man from his dementia, and we have to go over here to pick our starter Pokemon. Now, if you know me, you know that I'm not the biggest fan of Charmander, and I'm also not the biggest fan of Bulbasaur, even though that's probably my second favorite out of this trio. My favorite is of course Squirtle, so we pick Squirtle. After giving Squirtle an appropriate nickname, we then have to battle Chaotic. Now, at this point, I wasn't expecting to see any fusions until late in the game, or at least to the first gym, but Chaotic unveils that he himself has a fusion. He has a Charmander and Bulbasaur fusion, which is actually incredibly cute. I actually really like this sprite quite a lot. These sprites in this game are actually amazing. Like, the art that goes into this is incredible. As you see later in the game, as you fuse your Pokemon together, you do get the artist name pop up on screen. So if you guys see your names or see someone you know, just wish them good luck in their endeavors to create the best art, because this art is honestly incredible. As you see here, Drizzy gets the job done quite easy over Charizard, and I was actually quite impressed with how we did against our first fusion. At this stage, I'm not sure how fusions work. After this episode, I do go and do a little bit of research, but as Professor Oak always does, he instructs us to go and do a little challenge for him. So we go pick up his parcel, and then our first encounter in the wild is actually a fusion, and this thing is ugly. But once we give Professor Oak the parcel, he gives us some Pokeballs. He also gives us a Pokedex and also gives us a DNA splicer, which is what you use to combine different Pokemon together, which is super cool. Now the Nuzlocke is officially started. We go out onto Route 1, and our first encounter is a Tangela, which is really cool. I like Tangela quite a lot. We successfully catch the Tangela in our first Pokeball. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to weaken this thing at all or not, but we nickname it an appropriate nickname. I do keep my nicknames nice and simple, but if you guys want a Pokemon named after you, definitely let me know. But this gives us the perfect opportunity to fuse our first Pokemon together. Now, I was really excited for this. These are two pretty cool Pokemon, so I was really hoping to get a really nice sprite. As you see here, it's quite easy to fuse the Pokemon together. You can pick between two custom sprites, but we choose the left one, which I thought was more Squirtle based, but this Pokemon, as you see here, is absolutely cursed. This looks like a emo preteen blasting out his beats in his room alone. It's not a phase mum. But once we managed to get a couple of encounters from Viridian Forest and Route 2, we also fused these two together, which I wasn't expecting too much from a Caterpie and a Rattata, but honestly, so far, this has to be top 3 of my favorite sprites that we've seen so far. And as they fuse together, you also see the artist name on the screen, so shout out to you. But this is the Katatata, which is crazy. Once we get into Viridian Forest, we're able to evolve this thing, because these Pokemon evolve based on the Pokemon levels that they evolve. So this was for Kakuna, and once you evolve, you can also teach them the different moves and things. So they can evolve up to 5 times, or potentially 6 times if they have 3 evolution stages, which is pretty cool. We do come across this weird bat thing, and I was just gobsmacked. It was crazy. Once we finally hit Pewter City, it was time to explore a little bit. If you guys don't know, this hotel up here allows you to talk to different people, get different quests, and you get some cool items from them as well. So I do go over to Route 3 and get an encounter. Lucky for us, we don't have to use a DNA splicer on this thing, because it's a Hootran. It's a Hoot Hoot and a Nidoran. I was going to call it Hoot Queen, but I decided to call it Hooter instead. And then it was time for the all-powerful Brock. Now, Brock was a very, very scary prospect to come up against. We had to enter the same amount of Pokemon as he has himself, which is pretty interesting. It's a good way to battle. And then it was finally time to try and get our first gym badge. Now, this Geogi is actually cursed, but we lead off with Hooter to put it to sleep and just get as much damage off as we can. Now, I completely forgot that Hooter is a flying type, he's a flying poison type, and Rock Tomb does a massive amount of damage to us. Now, I want to try and save Hooter, so when Onyx gets sent out, we can use Hypnosis. So I do go into Jungle, and that does an absolutely insane amount of damage, but once we hit it with a Water Gun and tank another Rock Tomb, this Pidgey does go down. So I was a bit scared. This Onyx fusion that he's about to send out looked intimidating as heck. Now, I wasn't sure what I was going to do. It did go for Dig, and then I remembered that Hooter is a flying type, so we switched back into Hooter so it doesn't affect us. And then I was like, okay, we need to go for a Hypnosis. We miss and Onyx miss, but once Onyx is able to hit, our beautiful little Hooter goes down, and that's the first death of this Nuzlocke. We needed Jungle to take one hit, and he successfully did. Absorb smashes this Onyx Diglett fusion down to its 30. We do live another attack before Absorb finishes the Onyx off, and that is it. That is our first gym badge. I was actually surprised we got through this. Unfortunately, we did lose our first Pokemon, and it was quite a cool fusion. I was really excited to use a Hoot and Nidoran fusion because we can evolve it into something quite devastating. And then we get Rock Tomb from Brock. We also get this little message that comes up on the screen here about a Wonder Trade, but I have no idea what that actually means. So we get a little bit of a shout out from the trainers in the gym, and also chat to this guy trying to get a free item, but we don't get anything at all. And then it's time to go and put our first loss into the box, and unfortunately it was a Pokemon I was actually really excited to use. It was a Pokemon that had a lot of potential, but we managed to keep our starter, which is amazing. And we also have Worm still alive, which is pretty cool as well. So we heal up here, and I was going to actually continue the episode on, but I was just going to finish up after the first gym, and we might do it in phases of different gyms. But if you guys want longer episodes, just let me know. I really enjoyed playing Pokemon Infinite Fusion. I've almost halfway through the game as recording this video back, or recording the voiceover for this video. So if you guys want to try Pokemon Infinite Fusion for yourself, I definitely recommend playing through it. It's super fun, super challenging. You can do randomized modes, you can do hardcore modes, you can do all sorts of crazy modes. So hope you guys enjoy. Let me know down below if you do, and I'll see you next time.